Whoops, 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 whoops. Welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. Hey! So when I left, I found out some other information that I wanted to talk about, but I'll get to it in a minute. But I want to get back to The Last of Us, which is on HBO. And if you've not watched, it's only one episode in, so you can catch up. So The Last of Us takes place 20 years after the modern civilization has been destroyed. Joel, a hardened survivor, is hired to smuggle Ellie, a 14-year-old girl, out of an oppressive quarantine zone. And what starts as a small job soon becomes a brutal, heartbreaking journey as they both must traverse the U.S. and depend on each other for survival. So when I watched, it's a interesting story. It is from a game, and it's a game that they turned into a mini series, and it's quite interesting. And to follow, it starts from 2023, which starts from now, then it pushes you into, and then it hyper jumps into the future after a series of events, so that you get an understanding of why the lead character is the way he is. And it's heartbreaking. So, but it's interesting. So one episode in, I'm gonna stick with it. I hope you stick with it, and then y'all can come back and talk about it, or let me know what you think about it. So I like this kind of stuff. I love end of the world, apocalyptic, dystopian. I don't want to live in it. I only like to be entertained by it. I don't want it to be the reality. I like it as science fiction. I don't know what I would do if this was real, and I don't want to know. So I'm just letting you know. So I think it comes on Sunday nights at, HBO, they'll run it all. Its regular time slot, I believe, is Sundays at 7 or 9 or some old thing. I think 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But, after that, it's all bets are off. HBO throw it on all day, all night, and different HBO lineups. So you could catch up. That's my point. That you won't miss. Like I wouldn't even set my series to record. Although I think I did. I think I did hit record. So that I could just, if I don't catch it on Sunday nights, I could go back and catch it whenever I want. And with all the demand stuff, I mean, really, it just, So anyway, it's got a bunch of characters in it. It's very dystopian, it's very apocalyptic, and it's got monsters or zombies, monsters, whatever, same. They got all that in it too, So I'm looking forward to it. So tune it in. Let me know what you think. Now back to New Haven. The arts grants, the grants that went out. Let's see, the Arts Council, the NewHavenArts.org, that's Lucy Gelman's thing. She wrote up about the arts, the city's arts awards that they have given out. They gave out $187,000. Which is wonderful. 42 grantees, 42. And let me tell you something. Adrian Jefferson is magic over there with Kim Fertrell. They are magic doing that work over there, getting all these arts organizations funded, putting some money in their pockets to artists. It's just a beautiful thing. And I'm telling you, I love being a part of it. Like, I love being a part of it. I love having some handiwork in this arts community, because for me, the arts community is a living, breathing component to what makes this city amazing. The arts. It is the arts that makes it amazing. And all the players. I mean, Wabi Gallery, Kim at Wabi, Ife at Elm City Lit Fest, Arts and Ideas, I mean, all the big players, but to elevate and amplify the smaller players, which is a wonderful thing too, across this city. Art is alive and is thriving, and people are putting out some amazing things, from murals on buildings to photography classes, to supporting the LGBTQ community, to BIPOC, centering BIPOC voices on stages, behind cameras, in neighborhoods. It is just an amazing sort of thing. And it's just been a joy to be a part of it, and to know the people who and to personally know the people who are making art in this city. I think that's why I feel some kind of way about Lisa Dent leaving, because she was just beginning to make a mark, even though she had an uphill battle on a lot of these things. But she was just starting to sort of give art space some real identity, and connecting art space to the community, and not to just white people, but connecting it to Black and Latino people too, and Indigenous people. I've seen more people of color in the last 3 years in art space than I ever have in the history of art space. And I mean that. So, I mean, you could fight me all you want about it. I'm not going to fight you back about it. I'm just going to tell you what I experienced and what I witnessed. Just saying. So, I'm just saying. So it's nice, to see all the Juneteenth festivals come into being, to see collective consciousness rise up into the mix, to see the artistry of Quajo. I mean, it's just a wonderful, 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 time, to see Chef Nadine Nelson cook all this amazing food all over the place. And having people reimagine what they eat and how they eat it. Like, I love it. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And, and to see Long Wharf Theater take a deep dive into the future. I love it. I love that Anthony McDonald is over at Schubert and bringing some of the coolest things that we haven't seen in a very long time. And the sister over at Yale Rep, listen. So art is what's happening, baby. Art is what's happening. The stuff that's going on in Creative Art Workshop, Nico Whedon and her husband Malik, the Building Fund, and all the stuff that they're curating around town, which elevates it to a level of sophistication that puts us on par with other cities and towns that have deeper roots in our artist community than we do. But that just sort of elevates us to a much more sophisticated level. So I am here for it. So that's why I'm always running myself out to these streets. Like, I need to run over to the British Museum so I can catch some of that exhibit before it leaves in like a couple of days. So I have to figure that out. Ugh, time. And it's ridiculous because it's been here for like months. So I could have went yesterday, like Sunday, but I didn't. So I'm very proud of the arts community that we're building here. And it's only going to get better as people sort of venture out and partake of all the artist happenings. There's Nick DeMaria with jazz. There's the undergrad Yale collective kids who are putting jazz out there for the community, inviting people in. There's places where you can hear live music. Cafe 9, of course, we know Cafe 9, but you could go to Harvest. You could go a couple of places around town where you could get some live music. Listen, Brian Slater and I, we still have dreams of doing Jazz Where again, and maybe we'll get it done this year again. The pandemic shut everybody down. And then it's just hard to sort of get into spaces again. But now that the world is opening up a little bit more, and people are vaccinated and getting vaccinated, that, Jazz Where can make its way back. Jazz Where? Well, here. We're having jazz here. So, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. So I was pleased to sort of see that piece played out running. It's up on I saw it on my Facebook page, and I just wanted to shout it out a little bit more, to amplify it a little bit more, to borrow from the Karima Minkin's Amplify the Arts in Hamden, which was another wonderful event. I had a good time. I had a really good time. The fashion show, food. It was good. That's how you build community. You got to build community. It's gonna take a little bit of doing. And I dare say it takes about 3 years to build something. It takes about 3 years to build something. It takes about 3 years to undo something. Yes. There's a piece up in the New York Times, which I have to read this. What if diversity trainings are doing more harm than good? So Colleen Shadex, who is the author of one of the books that I enjoy, commented, could it be that no company is going to pay a DEI trainer to say that racism is an essential underpinning of capitalism and we cannot attack one another without attacking the other? Well, how about that? I think you're right. I think you're right. So, but anyway, I'm gonna have them back on so they could talk a little bit more about, poverty and the like in America. Poverty and have and have not, and why do we insist on keeping people from the very things that we say make people human? that makes us all human. That makes us makes us better people. But so many things. When I was at the environmental justice MLK poetry slam thing, these brothers did a poem about football. And I think their name, Abiose, Joseph Cole, Charmant Influence Little, and Michael Peterson Chief. They did a poem about, they laid football and slavery side by side and did a whole poem about it, performance piece about it. And it was so mesmerizing and so dead on, that I know that is one of the reasons why I no longer watch football anymore, because of that reason. I think the Colin Kaepernick thing really just bothered me so much that it just bothered me so much that I just couldn't find myself watching this game that is so white supremacist in its reach and approach and in its everyday business. I just couldn't stand it. I still can't stand it. And I think, if each of us sort of did a deep dive, we wouldn't be able to stand it either. And I know people love their sports and whatever. And you have to, and in order to enjoy this sport, you have to be willing to overlook the glaring racist and white supremacist overtones. You have to be willing to swallow the white supremacy and the racism that exists in that game. You have to swallow it in order to be a fan. Because once you lay it side by side, you can't in good conscience enjoy this game. But if you don't exercise good conscience, then you can enjoy the game. And I know people don't want to hear that, and it's harsh, but it's true. I mean, it is very, very true. And so when you lay it out on the wider, and listen, you can make the case for just about anything. You can make the case for anything and lay it out the same way. I get it. So I know people like, oh, well, and I know people are in their minds right now saying, well, you can say that about anything, blah, blah, blah. We in America, and America is racist, and, and I'm going to enjoy my football. But this is on a whole other different level. This is perpetuating that mentality, that that plantation master mentality exists, and football is its stage. It's its stage. And it's hard, and you have to swallow that in order to enjoy this game. And you have to sort of say, well, but what about? Well, what about the money that they're making? What about the opportunities they're given? And what about, yes, you have to swallow all of that in order to play this game, stay in this game, and be a fan of this game. Honest to God. Honest to God. And listen, I'm not suggesting that every person of color just give up football. That's not what I'm saying. People got to make their own estimations about what they're willing to live with, and what they're willing to change, and what they're willing to sort of, because, and I'm sure there are people who are fighting with tooth and nail to figure out how to change the dynamic of that game in terms of ownership, players, quarterbacks, all of that, management, where teams are. Do you know what I mean? I know there are people fighting tooth and nail for those kinds of things, and being told it can't happen, it won't happen, forget about it, roadblocks, all the things. I get it. But still, we cannot escape the fact, that this game is just an extension and continuation of the very thing that brought us here in the first place. It is. That's harsh. I know it. I know it. Listen, we got people who still don't think R. Kelly is a pedophile. You know how much convincing I had to do over the years to convince people? For 10 years straight, I hammered that point on my blog. And people were like, no, 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 no. Then you have to give people the transcripts. Like, go read the transcripts. Go read the transcripts of kids, young girls talking about what happened. Read the transcripts of all the people that was around him and what they did and how they hang out at Black schools and, inner city schools and luring girls and all this other kind of stuff. So, yeah, so it'll be a hard reach for some people because it's hard to believe what you believe. It's hard to believe the truth of things. It's hard because it's painful, because nobody wants to feel like they've been duped, or they're not bright, or they're not smart, or any of that stuff. So it's hard for people not to stand in that space. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Get it. However, when you do get it, what you're going to do with it? When you do get it, when the light bulb goes off, there's only so much ignoring of a thing that you could do. There's only so much, right? There's only so much. Well, it's only so much of that you can do until you get to the truth of things. And truth and truth is not subjective. Truth is truth. It's not subjective. It's not. Now people can sort of say, well, here's the truth over here, here's the truth over there, and they all would be right. It's all true. All true. I didn't say there was one truth. I said there is truth. And so, but you have to pick and choose the truth that you want to stand on. And we all do. We all do. We all pick and choose what we're willing to stand for and what we're willing to die for. I get it. I feel it. However, my favorite word, however, my lunch date just canceled on me. So I have to figure out some more dates. That's fine. So that means my 11 o'clock meeting, I'll eat. Like, I'll have breakfast. I have some breakfast at my 11 o'clock meeting, my 11:10 meeting, my 11:15 meeting. I have some breakfast because I was going to leave that meeting. I was just going to have coffee, leave that meeting, and then go to have lunch. But now that I'm not doing that, I'll have coffee. I'll have breakfast. And I love good breakfast. I really do. Although I don't eat breakfast every day. Because, one, I don't make it. Two, there's few places that I could go and have full on breakfast, but I'm going to breakfast this morning. Back to the football business. So anyway, these brothers did this poem, and it was beautifully, beautifully executed. And it was very thought-provoking. It was very thought-provoking. And there's a lot of things in life where, as I when I was in college, because I went to a Black college, they was like, these come to Jesus moments. And you know what a come to Jesus moment is? When you got to get to the truth of things. Come to Jesus means, all right, this is it. Come to Jesus. And so we all have them in our lives. We all have them in spaces and places that we haunt and hang out in. And it's like I don't eat at I don't eat at what is it, Chick-fil-A? I don't eat there. Is it Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A. I don't mess with them. I haven't messed with them since 1982. They was the same in 82 as they are right now. I don't give a damn how good that chicken is. That chicken is white supremacy. That's what it is. I'm not going to eat it. So now I'll eat chicken from somewhere else, but I can't mess with the Chick-fil-A corporation as it stands, because they are not nice people. I don't mess with Hobby Lobby for the same reason. I don't shop there. I don't shop there. First, because I just can't do it. Now, there's a whole lot of places that I shop at that I don't know what the politics is, but once I know your politics, I got to give you up, because I can't give you my money and you are with your boot on my neck. I can't do it. And boot on your neck means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But we know, as people of color, what that means. That just means oppression. Like, you are oppressing me. And they tend to stand on that and die on that. And they crouch it under the guise of religion and God and whatever. They do. Listen, lots of people use God as a weapon. Lots of people weaponize the Bible. Lots of people weaponize the word. They do. And this particular corporation is good at it. Chick-fil-A is good at it. Hobby Lobby is good at it. And then they have a following of people who agree with that stuff, who believe that, you could pray the gay away, or you could send them to camps and transform people, or that marriage is between a man and a woman. It is. And between whoever else wants to do it. What the hell? So I say that we all have our come to Jesus moments. We all have these moments where we have to decide, what can we stand on? What can we lay down for? And for me, football at the moment, and for the last several years, has been that. Because I just feel like all these players, they can't fire you all, and they couldn't replace you all. They would try, but the fans would just act out, So I just, and listen, there's enough white supremacy and a lot of things to go around, and we can't just, well, we can, but we have to pick and choose the things that we will not do, even though it can put us in a disadvantage in terms of what we will allow ourselves to participate in, Like, if I started going through my kitchen and saying, well, I won't shop from this company because this, then I might be out of luck. So we all have to, but that's another come to Jesus moment. We all have to figure out, if a particular company is doing bad things, what do you do? Do you continue to support that company, or do you walk away from that company? And you're just one person, right? And you're just one person, but you make decisions based on what's important to you and what has meaning and value to your life, your everyday practical life. How do you do it? And I think that's the overarching trouble with folks when they're trying to figure out what's the right thing to do. What is the right thing to do? And some people just prefer, well, you know what? I don't even want to know about any of that, because it's just political and it's over my head, and I don't care, and blah, 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 and whatever, you know. And I get that too, because that's an easier road to go down. But in the end, and there's always an end, that it cost, whether you pay now, you pay later, it's going to cost. Freedom costs, liberation costs. It does, it all costs, and you have to pay a hell of a price for all of it, you know. And there are people who are happily and readily willing to pay the price for freedom and liberation. And the people that pay the heaviest price we all benefit from. We benefit from the price that people pay for liberation and freedom. We benefit. So when you see people out there protesting a thing that is wrong and egregious, the folks who are not protesting are going to benefit from the work of the people who are protesting. That's just how it works. They're not protesting just for themselves. They're protesting for the masses. They're protesting for the people who are not even in agreement with them, who are not in alignment with them, who don't even think that they should be protesting. But those people will benefit from the work of the folks doing the work. Isn't that something? Ain't that something? So you're going to benefit from the work that people do, even if you ain't about the work. That's just how it goes. And people who do that work understand that and are fueled by that you're going to get your freedom and liberation at my expense. Because that's what I want for you. I want you to be free, even if you don't work for it, even if you don't stand on it, even if you don't show up for it. You know, that's the part that I understand fully, that people lay down their lives for other people so that other people might have freedom. And it doesn't matter. There's no judgment if you're not a freedom fighter. There's no judgment, because you're going to be free. If everybody gets free, you're going to be in the mix too. You know, Martin Luther King understood that. Malcolm X understood that. Anybody who has been in this struggle for equality, freedom, and liberation understands that it is not about them. It is about everybody get free, regardless if you agree with me or not, regardless if you dig my politics or not, regardless of the fact if you interested in the freedom of your neighbors or your children or anybody else, you're going to get free too. If we get free, you get free. Do you understand that? So I find that to be quite powerful. That's how you know you love people, when you want their freedom as much as you want yours, and they are in opposition to your freedom. Child, I don't know what to tell you. That is some freedom fighting for your ass right there. That's it. People who freedom fight for you, even if you're in opposition. And let me tell you something, you will benefit from boots on the ground, even if they ain't your boots. And that's what real love is. That is real love for humanity right there. That is what real love for humanity is. It's not about me. It's about we. If I get free, you free. Even if you don't want to be free, even if you don't know nothing about freedom, even if you can't imagine freedom, even if you ain't never tasted freedom, if I'm free, we free. That's what it is. In a nutshell, that is the smallest equation right there. You free, we free. We free, I'm free. I'm free, we free, you free, we all free. That's the equation. What? So that's what I mean. Listen, Colin Kaepernick took a hit. He never gonna play football. They never gonna hire him back because they would have to admit that white supremacy exists in this National Football League. They'd have to admit that, number one. Number two, they're not interested in the liberation of people outside of the NFL, because Colin Kaepernick wasn't protesting what was going on in the NFL. He was protesting what was going on in these streets, that Black people are being gunned down by police at a rate that nobody else on this planet is being gunned down by, being killed by. Now, people can throw all the other stuff in there that they want. Oh, this, that, and the other thing, this, that, and the other thing. Show me the statistics of how many people in this country are gunned down by police every day. What's the proportion? Now you do it in proportion to, now we make up, I guess, between 13 to 50%, 15% of the population. How many of us are in prison? How many of us are gunned down by police? How many? See, that's the kind of mental, that's the intellectual reasoning you have to get to on a regular basis. That's how you do it. You got to think about this every single day. You can't just do it when you feel like it. So when he's took a knee and asked people and asked veterans and asked people, how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we protest? What is a respectful protest? And everybody said, well, you just take a knee. And then white folks, along with other Black folks, felt some kind of way and said, oh, we can't have any of this. We can't. And then when it hit home, when it got close, then they were like, oh, now we see. Now we see. And so few kneeled because they didn't want to lose that check. I get it. This is not a judgment. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying that everybody has to have their come to Jesus moment. Everybody has to sort of stand on what they stand on in order to get up every day and face the world. You got to stand on whatever it is you stand on. And nobody is perfect. And nobody is perfect. Nobody. And we all have to fight through our own flaws and our shortcomings. We all have to fight through them. We have to fight through them to make the decisions that we make every single day. But I will say this, and this is what I'm saying, that I'm out. I'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. That the people who are freedom fighting are fighting for you and I and I. We. So even if you don't believe it, even if you sitting at a Klan meeting right now, the folks that are protesting, you're gonna benefit from the protest. You're gonna benefit from the protest because when they secure freedom, your freedom is secured too. Do you understand? I and I, we, you and I. That's how that goes down. So you don't have, really, you don't have to do anything. You could say whatever you want to say. But the freedom fighters are fighting for you and me. And even if you don't lift a finger to help, send a dime, tote no water, nothing, you're gonna benefit. You're gonna benefit. You're gonna benefit. So, and that's the real understanding of love for humanity that I strive for, that I understand. That these people are not out there for themselves. They're out there for you and me and your children and generations to come. And you will benefit. You will benefit from all of that. Even if you don't believe in it, even if you think it's worthless, even if you don't have no regard for folks, even if you don't even have love for countrymen, you're going to benefit. That's the good word today, good people. I'll be back tomorrow talking something else. I'll be talking about something else tomorrow. Don't you worry. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see y'all. Thanks, Harry.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.